James Holland, editor of Electric Pig, and connected to me through the internet is Ben Sillis. He's not here with me at the moment. He's going to be fielding questions elsewhere. He's going to send them over to me. So today we're going to run through the HD entertainment abilities of the Nokia N8. We've done how to take great photos and stuff about the camera. We've done stuff about the video camera. Now we're going to get into what you do aside from creating your own content on the N8. So we've got a couple of questions to run through from after previous Q&As. We'll do that now. If you want to send us a question, email us at editor@electricpig.co.uk, or you can tweet us. We're just @electricpig. You can ask us a question through Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/electricpig to do that. Or drop us a line in the comments section at the bottom of this page, or even in the live chat, although that will disappear after we've done the live Q&A. Ask us anything you like, but if it's not related to the HD entertainment stuff, we might save it to the end. So to start off, I've got a long question from Joshua Valentin. Now this is about the entertainment skills of the N8. So, Joshua's question. If I was playing an HD movie through the device onto a TV, would it be displayed as 720p or 1080p? Okay, so I'll answer that question first. The N8 has a HDMI socket, which is just at the top here. I'll just prise it open so you guys can see. Bear with me, there it is. It's right at the top of the phone. It's a small HDMI and it comes with an adapter in the box. You just hook that up to your TV. It will output in 720p, so HD, not full HD in a strictest sense, but it still looks pretty sharp, pretty amazing. The next bit of the question, it's quite a long question. If I decided to watch the same HD movie on the device itself, would the video quality be in HD 720p or just DVD quality? It's a really good question. It will play HD files up to 720p, and if you watch them on the phone screen, then obviously you're only going to see the quality that the screen can manage. So for the N8, that is 640 by 360 pixels. It's not far off DVD. It's a bit below. It's a bit below on the vertical, I think, but it's not a million miles off. But if you don't have to have two different files for that. It can all be the same 720p file. It will just squash it down for the small screen, put it out full size for the big screen. So next bit of the question, it really is a long one. If this movie had surround sound and I had a Dolby Digital 7.1 surround sound headphones plugged into the 3.5mm jack on the top of the N8, would I be watching video with Dolby Digital surround sound? Well, again, good question. If you plug in the N8 to a TV, Dolby Digital surround sound works fine. At the moment it's up to 5.1 surround sound. If you use the headphone socket, you just get it in stereo, but it's got Dolby Mobile technology in, and what that does is it creates a kind of down mix of the surround sound channels. So you get a Dolby generated stereo rather than a bog standard stereo. It's actually pretty good, and it knows when you're listening through headphones or through the speaker or through HDMI. So Dolby kind of tunes the output for that. Last bit of the question. Does it play back in full surround sound, virtual surround sound, or just stereo? I've kind of answered there. Full surround sound, 5.1 through the HDMI. I guess it's kind of virtual surround sound in the headphones because it down mixes it to just two channels. So there you go. That's all those questions answered. We have one more from Rob Sadler, who asked on email, how big is the C drive? I've had an N97 and I'm plagued with issues from not having enough space on the phone memory. Really good question, Rob. The N8 has 16 gig inside. That's a standard. That's kind of built in. So that's the C drive, if you like. Nokia software does show it up as a C drive occasionally, depending on what you're in, which app you're in. So it's got 16 gig of standard. There's also a micro SD card slot, which I'll just show you quickly around the side. Excuse me. Okay, you've got two slots there. You've got two slots at the side. One's for the SIM card, one's for the micro SD. That will take up to 32 gigs. Try and move my fingers out of the way. That will take up to 32 gigs, and it's hot swappable. So for the non-geeks watching, that means you can just swap out memory cards. You don't have to restart the phone each time. You don't have to turn it off to take the memory card out. You can just swap them over. So in total, you're going to have 40 gig there if you stick the biggest card possible in. Next question again from Rob. Is it necessary to get a screen protector, or is the Gorilla Glass good enough? Now, Gorilla Glass, for those of you who haven't heard about that before, it's toughened glass. Basically, it's the same sort of stuff that you get in helicopter windscreens, apparently. And yeah, it's very, very tough. Again, you know, I've had this phone for coming up to 3-4 weeks now. There's not a scratch on it. And I mean, I'm quite careful with stuff that I carry around, but it feels very durable. There's an all-metal shell as well, unlike some phones which have glass on the front and the back. But this one is metal all round. So if you drop it, you know, it's a 50-50 chance whether it's going to get broken. But the front is very hard, very sturdy. I haven't been able to scratch it yet. Lastly, is the default browser quick or good enough, or is it better than Opera or Skyfire? I like the default browser on the N8. I'll just show it to you quickly. I think it's great. You know, I'll just hit a bookmark there. And of course, it's not connected to my Wi-Fi. I like it. It's very quick. It's it uses the full screen, which is nice. If you can see, there's a little set of arrows there. I might not be able to see them because they're white on white. But that brings up the options. Basically, that's an overlay. Normally, you don't see anything, excuse me, on the screen except for what you're browsing. Which is nice, but like you say, there's third-party options. You can download Opera, which is really quick and very nice, very well made. Or there's Skyfire, which, in all honesty, I haven't tried, or haven't spent that long with. I've seen it. So those are the questions that we've had in so far. They were from the homepage of the N8 HD Entertainment stuff. If you've got any more, ping us an email, editor@electricpig.co.uk. Or you can tweet us @electricpig on Twitter. That'd be really nice. You can drop us a question, facebook.com/electricpig. And if you go there, then if you click the like button, you'll be able to comment on posts, and you'll be able to see what we're up to as well throughout the week. Or if you want to, if you're on the page already, have a look below. There's the comments section and there's live chat. Ben is elsewhere looking at all of those comments, and he's feeding them in to me. So without further ado, let's crack on with a quick look at the hardware. So we're looking at entertainment hardware, specifically HD hardware. I've mentioned a few of these things already. There's the screen, which, you know, we said it's coated in Gorilla Glass. The other thing about it is that it's an AMOLED display, 3.5 inches on the diagonal, and it's a true 16:9 display. What that means is that it's bright and colourful because of the OLED. It doesn't use much battery life compared to older screen technology. And the 16:9 thing, if you think about this as an entertainment phone, it's actually really important, because what it means is when you download films or move films across from, you know, you sometimes get DVDs and Blu-rays with digital copies included on them, they're going to play just fine. There's no black bars, there's no letterboxing, which is great if you're going to be watching movies. It doesn't zoom in like some phones do, or some PMPs do even, and crop the sides off. You get everything that you've paid so much money for. You get to watch the whole film on the move. What else is there? The screen's capacitive instead of resistive. Nokia haven't been doing capacitive screens for that long, actually, and it's very responsive. You see this, I'll just nip into some menus. Best way, the most visual one is photos, because you get to see all the photos whiz by very quickly. You can see that. Very fluid, very responsive. There's also accelerometer control inside here, which the iPhone kind of made it most popular. It's now pretty hard not to find a game that uses it in some way or other. So you've got accelerometer control, full 3D movement. What else is there? There's 3D acceleration as well. So there's a chip inside here which will run OpenGL 2.0 games. You can download games from the Ovi store, or I'll show you something quite cool later on to do with games. And it just takes the load off the processor. It makes them a lot quicker, a lot more fluid. The graphics look a lot better. And as we discussed, that HDMI out, that will display anything that's on the phone screen, basically, in short. So anything that you can see on here, you can get on the TV. Now, some phones, like the iPhone, do video out, but very few of them let you output exactly what's on the screen at any given time. That makes things like playing games really difficult, because some of them don't output to the screens when they're locked down. Some of them won't play videos out to the TV if they're, you know, a certain type of file. The N8 doesn't care, to be honest. It will play pretty much anything you can throw at it, which is great if you want to play games on big screen. Accelerometer control means you can hold this in your hands, look at the screen, and treat it almost like a PlayStation joypad or an Xbox joypad. Excuse me. So that's HDMI output. There's also another cool thing that's often overlooked. There's an FM transmitter inside the N8. So if you're listening to music, then you can ping that sound out to your hi-fi in the living room. You don't have to dock the phone, you don't have to mess about with cables, you don't even have to connect up the HDMI, you just broadcast it through FM. If you're in the car, again, brilliant. You don't have to find one of those fiddly tape adapters, you don't have to get a special dock connector like you do with the iPhone. You can just beam it out to a channel, and you just choose the frequency on the phone. You can choose a specific frequency, it's not limited at all. Tune the car stereo in and you're away. So that's broadly speaking what's inside. Oh, and of course Bluetooth, which the other week we discovered is Bluetooth 3.0. I've still yet to find out what that does that's different to all the other Bluetooths, but in practical terms it means stereo Bluetooth, so you can use stereo headphones, or again you could beam audio not using FM, not using cables, but using stereo Bluetooth to Bluetooth equipped home stereo or a PC or a Mac. Excuse me. There's also Wi-Fi inside for multiplayer games, internet access. I forgot to check actually whether it's N standard Wi-Fi, but I'm pretty sure it is. An N standard, for those of you who haven't come across it yet, means that it's very quick, and perhaps the most important thing about it is that it's got a wider range, and it means that you'll get a better reception for further away from your router. So that's Wi-Fi. So we'll just pause quickly for some questions, so I can see that Ben has sent me a few. Roy on Twitter, if you want to ask us a question, by the way, stop us at any time. Ping us a Twitter to @electricpig. Talk to us on Facebook, facebook.com/electricpig. Email us, editor@electricpig.co.uk. Or drop us a note in the comments box or the live chat below. Ben just told me it's standard Wi-Fi. Oh no, it's N standard Wi-Fi. There you go. So you get the extra range, you get the more speed, and that's of course assuming that you've got an N standard router at home, or you're on a Wi-Fi hotspot that's N standard. Now, Roy on Twitter asks about HDMI output. Does it show the screen in real time, or only work with video or picture apps? Could I surf the web and pinch to zoom and see all that on the TV? Yes, Roy, you can. Exactly. And Nokia actually showed off, interesting point, we've got it on the site. If you have a quick look at some of our N8 stuff, you'll see Nokia showed off at Nokia World a really cool system where they got the N8 and they hooked it up to a TV, big screen TV, and they used the camera to point at the TV. So you've got the TV there and the camera pointing at it, and the camera could see what it was putting out onto the TV. Then when you touch things on the TV, it was responding to those as if you were touching the screen. So kind of like a massive multi-touch screen, if you like. Very clever. I don't think they've made that public yet, but it just shows that you can output absolutely anything you like using this. It's not restricted at all. Next question we've had is from Clive on email. How long does the N8 take to upload a 1-minute HD video to YouTube? Good question. We talked about HD video last week, and we talked about whether it was possible to upload over Wi-Fi or 3G. You can upload through 3G, which is unusual, especially for HD video. It will take you a while. Over Wi-Fi, I tried a sample HD video over it, and it took a couple of minutes to send over Wi-Fi. It was just over 100 meg, and it took a few minutes. Now, I'll hold my hands up. We've got a very good broadband connection here, which you can probably tell because we're broadcasting this in pretty high quality and live, and it's smooth. So, hold my hands up. We had a good connection, but a couple of minutes, and we got a minute of HD footage straight from the N8 onto the web. Sarah on email, to mix up and mix down, does it interpolate? Does this mean that you could get any problems at either the low or high mix? Now, it's Dolby digital processing that handles that down mix between all the different surround sound channels. So what they do is they detect kind of, that's front right, that's front left, but then they also take into account lots of things like, are there going to be clashes between bass and high frequencies in all the different channels. And Dolby obviously don't tell you exactly how they do that because that's their special sauce. But having tried it, it's very punchy. Is the best way I can describe it. You always sound a bit odd when you're describing how things sound. But the I was watching a bit of a Batman film, and there was rumbles of vehicles and high-pitched kind of gunfire and shouting, and it didn't drown itself out. There was no distortion, which is kind of what you're looking for. But again, that's through stereo. If you're watching with headphones on the go, if you're with HDMI, then you don't have to worry about that because it handles surround sound properly. Phil on chat, that's the chat window just below. Drop us a note if you want to stop us. Why does the N8 seem to be launching in the UK after all the rest of Europe? To be honest, Phil, we don't know. That's kind of up to Nokia. They have said that it's shipping now. So they were promising that some people would have it, by the weekend. If you've got one, brilliant. You'll know all this stuff that we're talking about already. If not, it's just around the corner, so it's not far off at all. VG Republic through chat. Is it easy to put media on the N8 as it is on the iPhone? Actually, do you know what? It's a bit easier to put stuff on the iPhone. There's a couple of reasons for that. There's the fact that you can just slot in a memory card in the side, which makes it as easy as possible, to be honest. You can plug in a USB cable, and the N8 shows up as just as an external drive on your PC or Mac. You can put a hard drive into this socket, and it will treat it like a PC treats a hard drive. So it mounts it just as your Mac or PC does. That's really cool. We'll come on to that again a little bit later. And you can Bluetooth to it. So, and it's a DLNA server as well, so you can actually put stuff on it over Wi-Fi. There's 1,000,001 ways to get stuff onto the N8. You don't just have to sync using one program like the iPhone. So that's it for the questions at the moment. I can't see Ben giving me any more, so we'll crack on. If you do want to drop us a question, I'm going to keep saying it because it's really easy. Twitter us at Electric Pig. You can use the chat window or the comment section below. You can send us things through Facebook, facebook.com/electricpig, or you can email us, of course, editor@electricpig.co.uk. I'll just glance at the emails quickly to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, there we go. No, there we go. Right, next, so we'll crack on with software, and I'm waiting for a few more questions to come in. We are here to answer basically any questions you've got, so don't be shy, shout up, and we'll go through everything we can. So when it comes to software, we've talked a bit about Dolby Digital. That does processing of HD video at 720p and with full surround sound. A couple of interesting kind of factoids. It does work above 5.1. At the moment, you won't find any content for it. Dolby say that there's nothing to stop their Dolby Digital codec supporting more than one channel. In fact, I think they said unlimited channels. So there's every possibility that if you can find 7.1 surround sound content, it'll play out of this just fine. If not, then 5.1 will work. Pardon me. And it will go out through HDMI just as you'd expect. It treats it exactly the same as outputting from a Blu-ray player. So it will play pretty much anything you can throw at it. You might think that, they've included Dolby. It's going to be locked down with DRM and awkward things to stop me playing what I like. That's not true. The N8, as we discovered the other week and looked into it, will play DivX and XVID files. So if you've got those stashed on your PC, put them onto the N8 and you can play them through the TV. In fact, even better than that, if you plug in an external hard drive, you can kind of use the N8 as a middleman, as a HD kind of butler, if you like. Connect the TV to one end, connect your hard drive to the other, and this will do all the processing in between. So this will make sure that those videos end up on your TV. Someone asked last week whether it had enough power to power a hard drive that usually needs a power supply, or will it just work with flash sticks? We looked into it, and we tried a couple around here. I couldn't get it to power up any of my kind of larger hard drives, so I've got a couple kicking around. Here we go. I've got a Seagate and a Toshiba external drive. The Seagate one, this one uses two USB ports, and my Mac can't power it with one. Unsurprisingly, the N8 wasn't having any of it. But Toshiba, it gobbled this up. It gobbled up my Toshiba hard drive just fine, and that usually just takes one USB on the computer. So if you've got a low power drive, you might as well stick that in your backpack and play movies off it on the go. The one thing that struck us when we were talking about this was, how cool is that for going to a hotel room? You don't need to take your movies on a laptop or even on an iPad. Just go to your hotel room, take the HDMI cable, and either load this up with movies or stick a hard drive in your backpack. When you get to the hotel, you don't need to pay a fortune for movies on demand. You've got a HD set-top box essentially that will handle everything for you. So DivX, Xvid. It'll also play H.264 videos, so you're more likely to have encoded those yourself, to be honest. And then on the audio front, MP3, WMA, AAC, EAAC, EAAC Plus, and a million others beyond. So it's going to pretty much play everything you want, whether it's video or audio. The one thing that we couldn't find was lossless audio. Now AAC will support lossless options, so you can have a lossless AAC audio file, but if you're looking for FLAC or any of those slightly more obscure lossless files, we couldn't find support for that. We might be wrong, but it didn't play the one that we threw at it, and it's not in any of the specs, and we can't find anyone currently using it, so unless we were doing it wrong, sorry, no FLAC. Now a quick word on games, because we had a lot of questions about games. The N8 will play games from the Ovi store, so you can download games specifically written for the N8. Now, to fire up the Ovi store, you just tap it on the menu, and then Ovi store pops up. You can scroll through the sections for games. There's tons of stuff going on there actually that I didn't realise was happening. So Angry Birds Lite is in there. The full version is going to follow soon. There's also a couple more, names of which I've forgotten. There's one by the people who made Angry Birds called Bounce Point Battle, Labyrinth, the same one that you've probably seen on the iPhone or iPod Touch. There's a couple of pinball games. There's even a spin the bottle one. What's kind of important to note is that these are different games to, you might remember N-Gage, which was Nokia's last attempt at mobile gaming. N-Gage is dead now. You're not going to see N-Gage branding. There aren't special N-Gage games. What you can do is, if you want to see what's available, it's probably the best way is to go to store.ovi.com, and at the top you get to pick your cell phone. Choose the N8, it's called the N8-00. Choose that, and it will filter out everything that doesn't apply to the N8, so you can see what's actually on offer. That's probably the easiest way. But one of the coolest things that we found is it will play Java games, which is fine. It'll also play Flash games, because few mobile phones will run Flash properly, notably the iPhone, but plenty of Android phones don't play Flash properly because they're either too old or too underpowered. Excuse me, the N8 doesn't have that problem. So I thought what we could do is show you a Flash game because it's quite impressive. So I'm going to tap into the browser, and I bookmarked Flash Games website, and I literally haven't cheated here. I just went into Google, typed in Flash Games, picked the first site that came up, which was flashgames247.com. I've never used this site before, and then you see there's tons on offer there. Someone was asking about the browser earlier. It scrolls pretty smooth. There's obviously pinch to zoom, and then I found one that looked pretty good under the puzzle section. Let me just go and find that for you. Oh, not poker. Puzzle games. In fact, I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I bookmarked it. Bear with me. request. So I'll just wait for that to load. A couple of seconds because it is quite big because it's a flash file. Okay, you see the, I don't know if you saw that, the rest of the toolbars disappeared. So I've now got the whole screen to play my flash game. It says game loading, loading game, please wait. That itself is flash. There we go, don't know if you heard that, that was the sound coming through. I'll just put it into landscape. And there you go, there's Jewel Quest. Now, I'm going to attempt to play this while showing it to you. Which means I have to, I'm not going to get a high score, but anyway, tap play game. It's loading. Probably doesn't help that I'm trying to do this over 3G. And flash games are notoriously big, and this isn't even a mobile flash game, so I think what I might do, I might just reload the page and put it on Wi-Fi. But I was playing it earlier today, and it was absolutely, it was slick. It was exactly the same as on a desktop, so let's see if that's any better. But this just shows that this is a full-size flash game, and it does load and it does run. And more to the point is this isn't quite final N8 software, which itself is pretty impressive. That there we go. So there's no N8 going. So what I've got to do is get these jewels 4 in a row. So I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. I'll swap that and that. There we go. I'll try and do that a bit closer so that you can see what I'm doing. I'll swap that and that. Did I mention I'm rubbish at these games? Okay, but hopefully you get the idea anyway that this is a full-size flash game running on a phone. Show me an iPhone that can do that. So if you want to ask us any questions about gaming, that's gaming kind of in a nutshell. We've already covered off that the HDMI socket works fine for games. FM broadcast works fine for games. Accelerometer control is obviously inside. You can touch the screen to control them, and it's a capacitive screen, so it's very responsive. And everything kind of works. I've yet to find something that trips up the N8. If you want to drop us a line, just send an IM to us below in the chat, or you can drop us a comment down below, or you can send us a Twitter message at Electric Pig, or send us a Facebook message. Click the like button, become a fan on facebook.com/electricpig, then comment away there, and Ben's going to pick them up. He's fielding questions to me now. Daniel, through the chat, what do you think about video comparison between N8 and iPhone 4? Video comparison, I'm not sure what you mean, so I'll cover both. We just spoke about video codecs and video playback. It's easier to play video on the N8, to be honest. It's easier to get video onto it. On my iPhone, I've got 3 TV episodes, and 2 of them were free from iTunes promotions. So in terms of getting video on there, I can throw pretty much anything I've got kicking around, and this will play them back. It'll also play them out to TV, so awesome in terms of what will it play. In terms of shooting video, it shoots HD video just fine. So does the iPhone 4. This has a couple of advantages in that it makes very good use of low light. It's a lot better than the iPhone 4 with the flash off. Downside is, to be honest, this doesn't have a flash for video, so it doesn't use a torch, so it's a bit kind of hit and miss in terms of filming video in the dark. But you know, you win some, you lose some. It's not a massive problem. Ben says I've missed some questions. So Philip through chat. Have you used the USB plug and go? What sort of access times do you get when copying or opening files? Is it as quick as it will be using a USB stick on a laptop? When I plugged this into my Mac, it was as quick as just standard USB in terms of just putting things over to it. Yeah, it worked absolutely fine. The other thing I did was copying files to a memory stick, micro SD card. I've got a memory card adapter kicking around somewhere, and I just popped in a memory card into that, loaded everything on, and then swapped it over. That was purely because I couldn't find the right lead at the time. But it just, you know, you've got several options for getting stuff on there. You can even Bluetooth stuff to it. So yeah, it was as quick as a standard USB transfer. Any other questions? Flash, does streaming video work? Streaming video, does it work? Let's have a look. It should work just fine. Let's have a quick look at, oh, that's maps. I want to go into maps. Or phone anyone. If you guys have any websites that you want me to check, just send me the URL and we'll type them in. So let's go to let's have a look at the BBC iPlayer. So BBC, I'll show you the keyboard as well actually. Yeah, Bob through chat, I think that is BBC iPlayer. So www. I'll show you the keyboard. In landscape mode, you get a proper QWERTY keyboard. In portrait mode, you get, it changes. There you go. You get a multi-tap phone keypad. So bbc.co.uk. .uk/iPlayer. Cool. So let's see. Go to. Now this is working on Wi-Fi now, but we're also streaming out this video on Wi-Fi, so I wouldn't be surprised if our connection's taking a bit of a beating. Bear with me. There we go, BBC iPlayer TV. It is loading apparently. Oh, there we go. So we've got mobile iPlayer. Just fine, you see that? So I'm just going to try and play one. So I'll just hit golf, day 4. I'm not a big golf fan, but maybe this can convert me. It's treating me almost like a desktop. That is loading there. You can see the flash loading sign. And there's an option to download or add to favourites. I won't try and download it, we'll just see if streaming works. But as I say, we're kind of hammering this Wi-Fi connection at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if it stutters a bit. It takes a while. I'll try and answer some questions while that's buffering. Christopher, what's Nokia doing to increase the number of apps on the Ovi store? There are so many more for Android and iPhone. Completely, there are more for Android and iPhone. I don't think there's any getting away from that. What I was quite impressed with was at Ovi World, Nokia World, a couple of weeks ago. They had a lot of developer sessions. They had a lot of high-profile developers that have already made stuff for Android and iPhone and are now kind of shrugging a bit and saying, where do we go next? People like Rovio, who make Angry Birds, and it looks like a lot of those developers are now moving over. So they've made things for iPhone, they've made things for Android. Where's next? Well, they've already got a hit on their hands with Angry Birds. Makes sense, doesn't it, to take all that work and just go, well, do you know what, we'll remake it for Nokia. We'll port it over to Nokia. Because Nokia sell an absolute boatload of phones. Why wouldn't you? What's Nokia doing? Well, Symbian 3 is completely new from the ground up. So they've rewritten Symbian. It's got lots of fancy things like flash support. And apparently it's so much easier to code for now. It's about a third less of the work is what I heard from one guy. But it depends, it depends what you're looking for. I think in terms of free apps, there's loads on the Ovi store. I was wading through the other day, and there's tons of free apps to choose from. There's not so many high-profile games, and there's not so many high-profile apps. But that will change, I think, now that Symbian 3 is here in our hands, and that there's more Symbian 3 phones coming along the way. And sorry, I'm going to try refreshing this because I think it might have hung. Reload. I'll give it another bash. Come on, iPlayer. See, I can tell that it's working because that's a flash window right there. And that's a flash animation. So the only thing that I can think is standing in its way is our Wi-Fi, which is annoying because I really want to show you it working. Any more questions while we go? Sorry, yeah, so increase the number of apps on the Ovi store. Nokia's got a hard battle ahead of itself. I don't think anyone's denying that. But again, they seem to have a lot of support from a lot of big name developers now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Ovi store balloon in the next few months. VG Republic. Do trailers on GameTrailers.com work? I'd probably watch more movies on the way to work. Will these eat up my battery? There's no denying that watching videos does take its toll on battery life. Although I've been using this for a few weeks now, and it's not as bad as you might expect. I mean, in standby, this has lasted. I switched back to my old phone for a couple of days, and this lost 1 bar of battery over 2 days. So that's pretty good in standby. In active use, it's really hard to say because I've been using it for kind of everything, but I've got a good 2 or 3 hours solid out of watching video, and then still been able to use it as a phone for the rest of the day. So that's about on par with my iPhone. It's not. I'd say if you have to draw a parallel between any other phones, it's like. Sorry, I'm seeing other messages coming. It's probably on parallel with the iPhone, if I'm honest, but it'll play more files, so I'd rather have that choice. I wish the iPhone played half the things that this does. Philip on chat, are you sure your N8 is trying to connect through Wi-Fi? It may be switching automatically to 3G, in which case that's why iPlayer isn't working. Hope that helps. Maybe it is switching to 3G. Maybe I should just try and, I'll just take the SIM card out, hang on. That will fox it. Hang on. There we go. SIM card out. Let me try refreshing the browser. I'm sorry guys, I'll keep trying this so I can give you an answer. I promise you we'll crack it. Let's try loading something else on iPlayer. Just to make sure it is connected. There we go, so we're definitely on EastEnders. Everyone loves EastEnders, except for me. Let's try it. Someone else has just asked, here we go, Alda C through Twitter, video, is there MKV support? No, there isn't. We double checked that. There isn't MKV support, but there is DivX and Xvid, H.264, MPEG-4. So if you've got MKV files, you will probably have to run those through a converter to play on the N8. But I'm not sure that many people have MKV files, to be honest. I think you're probably in the minority if you do. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if you see video players that can handle that sort of stuff in the future. Because Symbian's open, obviously. Streaming on this is having problems still. I'll tell you what guys, I'm going to hit the download button. And hopefully I'll be able to show you a bit of the file system, which is handy. There we go. So I've hit download, and it's telling me that it's an XMS WMV file if I download it. It's telling me the file name and how big it is, 130 meg. I'll try and download that. There we go. I'll leave that going, and we'll see if it'll play when it arrives. It might take a little while. So, any other questions? Don't forget you can email us, editor@electricpig.co.uk. You can Twitter us @electricpig through Twitter. You can talk to us on Facebook, facebook.com/electricpig, or you can drop us a note right below in either the chat window or the comments section. Jennifer on email has just asked, is it possible to download HD movies on the go? How much data would that take up? You can download HD just as you can download any file, which is again something that Android makes quite difficult and iPhone makes impossible, is to download files from websites. So this is downloading, albeit a bit slowly because of my broadband being used for this. Yeah, you can download anything you like, pretty much, and you get a proper file system with the N8s, much like you would on a PC, where you've got a hard drive and folders, and you can choose what goes into them. How much data would that take up? Well, it depends how big your HD movie is, I guess. But you can take that up with your service provider and ask them to give you more data. I wouldn't bet on getting more than one film, one HD movie out of a 1 gig usage allowance. That said, you know, you're going to be using Wi-Fi for downloads of that size, which means you won't have to worry about your 3G allowance. This is on 35% now. I really hope it works when it arrives. Caleb on email, can you watch high quality YouTube videos? I can't right now, but yes, it does. YouTube's got an interesting one. It shows you the YouTube mobile site, and then when you tap on a video, it plays it full screen in a kind of blown up Flash player. So it uses Flash there. I should have shown you YouTube, yeah. Why did I do iPlayer? I'll try hiding this, and there we go. I'll try and go into YouTube. Although I'll now be doing 3 things with my broadband, and I'm not sure any of them will work. If I disappear, you'll know why. I've gone into YouTube, and you'll see in a second when it creaks into life. It's the mobile YouTube. There we go. Will Smith iPad finger painting. That looks exciting. To hit that. So there you go. We've got mobile YouTube. Nothing glamorous or different there really, but that's a Flash window. So if I hit that, please play. It's very annoying because you test all these things when you're not using the broadband connection, and then the second you start broadcasting, you realise how much you rely on it. Try another one. Go landscape. There we go. So you can see the YouTube loading icon. Oh, there you go. That video's playing. There you go. Give it a double tap. See that, and I managed to pick a. So this is a kind of a time-lapse video of someone drawing Jude Law. Things people do on the internet, eh? And that's a Flash video. It's a Flash YouTube video, and it's playing full screen. Although it's not a massive video, it's a high quality one as well, by the looks of it. I tell you what, let me try and find one that's not a painting that someone's done. Try and find a video of some actual people so you can see high quality. Oh, there we go. There's no. There's what looks like a music video. So we'll try that. There we go. It's loading. That should be playing as well. Another thing you can do is switch to music player, because it music player, standard video player, because this is the mobile version of YouTube. If I hit that standard video player button, you'll see 2 ticks, it loads. Oh, there you go, it's telling me EastEnders is saved, so in 2 seconds I'll go and find that. Okay, there's your high quality YouTube. So I hope you guys can see it. That's pretty smooth. I mean, obviously we're broadcasting over the web, so we're not that smooth ourselves, but I can still hear it's pretty sharp. It's definitely high quality YouTube. It's not pokey, blurry, horrible YouTube. Go away. Let's try and find that that downloaded video as well. If you want to drop us a couple of quick questions, we've got about 10-15 minutes left, or 10 minutes left. If you want to drop us some more, send it to @ElectricPig on Twitter, through the chat or the embedded chat, or our standard comments below. Drop us a line through Facebook, facebook.com/electricpig, or email us, editor@electricpig.co.uk. Sorry, I'm really not very good at multitasking. So I'm now going to go and find that video, if it kills me. I really hope it works. So let me just show you. I've gone into Office, weirdly, because that's where the N8 file manager is kept. So file manager. And there you go. You've got the phone memory, which has 170 meg free, because I've been using it for a while. This is 16 gig normally. Mass memory, memory card, backup. You can send things off to backup. So there we go. EastEnders. Will it play? Unable to get licensed. No, it won't play. But there is an iPlayer app, as far as I'm aware, which you will be able to use. Here we go. I can show you this. There's an episode of a kids' TV show on here called Arthur. I'm just going to show you details of that. That is a WMV file, so that's a Windows media video file. Try and get that there so you can actually see it. You see that? File details type WMV at the top. That's 110 meg long, 110 meg. And if I tap it, this isn't HD. This is just a standard one. So again, smooth as you like. I think that came from BBC iPlayer actually originally. So yeah, you can browse through files. You can throw pretty much anything you like at it, and if you hook up an external disk into that socket there, it just appears in File Manager as if it was part of the phone. A couple more questions that have come in. Kevin via email: games, will S60 games run? Yes, some will, as far as I know. Good thing about Ovistore is it literally only offers you things that will work on your phone, so you don't have to worry about compatibility so much. Caleb on email: can you watch high quality YouTube videos? Yes, just saw that. Baz on Twitter: can you edit videos you've shot? Yes, Baz, you can. Last week we talked about video in depth, and I showed the guys the video editor. Most smartphones don't come with any video editing. The iPhone doesn't. I think they actually charge you because you have to download iMovie, which is paid for. The videos that you shoot, even in HD, just appear in the camera roll, and then you just load them into the video editor. So I can show you briefly now. If you've got any more questions, we've got about 8 minutes left, so do fling them into us. Go into Applications, Video Editor. It asks you whether you want to chop up a video or if you want to make a video from your photos, slideshow from your photos, tap, you want to create a video, and you get a nice little editing deck there. Tap the media browser, choose which ones you want to import, press the tick, it'll import them. Bear in mind they're HD, so it does a pretty good job of speeding that through. Then you can slide through them, you can tap into them and edit them and choose their in and out points. You can add transitions in between. But what I'd say is go back and if you look at the live Q&A we did last week, have a look on the site for live Q&A, and you'll see we did a video one. We showed it off when we showed how to chop up clips, how to trim them, how to add transitions. Booney on email, what would you add to the N8 that it doesn't have right now? Ooh, that's a really good question. What would I add to it? I think I might add a slide out keyboard, because I really like the Nokia keyboards. I think they do a really good job of making them there when you need them and not when you can't. When you don't need them. And there are a couple of new phones coming out. The E7 looks a lot like a blown up N8, but with a slide out keyboard. That said, I don't like portrait keyboards. I don't like number keypads. I haven't used one for so many years that I struggle with them now. But the QWERTY on this is actually pretty good. I'd say it's neck and neck with the iPhone. The iPhone's predictive text gets in my way more often than not, so I don't have that much trouble justifying the fact that touchscreen keyboards take a bit of getting used to. Philip, I had to play with the Nokia N8 a while ago, and the iPlayer app worked perfectly. I think you've broken it. Sorry. Yeah, either I've broken it, or what I suspect is happening is that our Wi-Fi is swamped by sending high quality video out at 25 frames a second. It's telling me at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's that. And the second I stop broadcasting, it will work perfectly. Christopher on chat, can you also cut music files, e.g. for ringtone usage? Do you know what? You can. You have to do it in Video Editor, but you just pull in an audio track. I noticed this when I was looking at HD video. So if I go to, if I hit that music icon there, I'll try and do it so you can see. There you go, just tell it which one I want to bring in, so I've got an MP3 there. I don't want to play it, I just want to bring it in. So I think I confused it by pressing about 5 at once. Now you should be able to edit it once it's in. He says confidently. I've definitely seen that you can. I've definitely seen that you can, and now I can't find it. But I'm sure we've got a photo of it on the site. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can. If not, my humble apologies. I must have been chopping a blank video when I did it, but I'm 90% sure. I think the way I did it before was I didn't have any videos loaded, and then I loaded audio. I'll try and come out of this and go back in and do exactly that. I'll answer another question. I'll come back to it. Chris on chat, there are so many apps from big names like Tesco and games, but these are all used for iPhone. Will there be any released for Symbian? Yes. I mean, you only have to look at things like the X Factor, where the official app on X Factor is for Nokia. And I think the Tesco shopping app is actually a Nokia exclusive as well. Symbian's catching up, I think, is the one thing that I would say. And things like Symbian 3 really help because they're it's slicker, it's faster, it's a lot more like Android than Symbian has ever been. So yeah, I think it's just a case of, it's taken a long time to catch up, but bear with it, and you'll see a lot more coming down the road. And Nokia are a lot less restrictive than some companies like Google and Apple, in that they'll let you play DivX and they'll let you play Xvid and they'll let you send stuff out through an FM tuner and they'll let you hack their phones. They almost actively encourage it. So yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if the next 12 months are a very good year for Symbian. We've probably got room for one more question. If anyone wants to dive in with the chat really quick, grab Ben's attention because he's ferrying them to me on a chat window of our own here. You can drop a question into the chat or the comments section below. That's probably the quickest way to get in right now, or through Twitter @ElectricPig, through Facebook, facebook.com/ElectricPig, or editor @electricpig.co.uk, which I have in front of me. I can't see any coming through right now, but if you email really quick, we can probably answer it. Will there 60 games run? Yes, we've covered that off. Video editor? Yes, there is a video editor. Any more questions? One more. Or can you use music for ringtones? Yes, you can if you've got an MP3 on here. I'm delving into places where I haven't been before, but I'm almost certain it's under profiles. And then you personalise your profile, and then ringing tone. And there you go. I'm going to go to Arcade Fire. I choose that album, The Suburbs, and I'm going to choose the first track, and there we go. It's choosing that as my ringing tone. So yeah, you can choose MP3 players. What about future emails? What will they bring? Says Will on email. Nokia, obviously, they're not going to make a rod for their own back. They haven't said much about where they're going to take Symbian after this. They have said that things like social networking will grow and increase, so they're going to be adding more social networks to the phones. And they were talking about using local countries to do that. So if you're in Brazil, you'll get local social networks offered to you. If you're in the UK, you might get, Bebo's a bad example because it's closing, but you might get things like that. So yeah, they have said that they will update, but they're not too clear on exactly what those updates will be, other than obviously performance enhancements. Cool, so I think that's all the questions. We've literally rattled through everything we've had in. So thanks very much, guys, for joining us, and we'll be back later this week with our final live Q&A, when we do, in fact, talk about social networks and social networking that's built into the N8. So join us for that later this week. Thanks again. Bye.